Oh, there's a scene in the movie where he's looking at the defendants and he's kind of like, going like this to them. He's doing this and all those things. And I go, that's fine, that's for a movie. But then they show a picture of the guy actually doing that. I go, oh, that actually happened.
I think we went, yes? No, we went.
And we're back.
Okay, we're back. So now I think it's you.
Yes.
Mr.
This movie is called Argentina 1985, and it's pretty self-explanatory. It stars the great Ricardo Darin, and let's take a look at it.
Estando yo en mi casa, fui secuestrada. Me tuvieron encerrada meses.
La responsabilidad jerárquica es de las juntas. ¿Cómo demostramos que ellos sabían?
Esta es nuestra oportunidad.
Cuídate, Julio.
Cuídate.
Vas a meter preso a Videla.
A todos los responsables.
Lo único que te digo es que hay poco tiempo y solo no vas a poder.
¿En cuántos juicios estuviste?
Ninguno.
El 90% de los funcionarios de la justicia no quieren saber nada con este juicio.
99.
Yo pienso que hay que buscar por otro lado, entonces.
¿Dónde? Chicos.
Sí. ¿Y si los funcionarios de carrera no quieren?
Entonces traemos a los que no tienen carrera.
Necesitamos demostrar que fue un plan sistemático. Que fue a lo largo de todo el país y durante los gobiernos de los 9 comandantes. En todo el país desaparecieron personas. Ellos son los responsables. Acá se trata de lo que el país necesita.
¿De qué tenés miedo, Julio?
De todo. De que todo esto es una trampa. De que les pase algo a ustedes. Se metieron en nuestra casa y tengo audiencia en 1 hora.
¡Policía, abre la puerta!
Lo único que quiero saber, señor presidente, es si mi hija está viva o muerta.
Lentamente, como para que no nos diéramos cuenta, una máquina de horror fue desatando su iniquidad sobre los desprevenidos y los inocentes.
Ricardo Darin is such a great actor. I watched this movie because I will watch anything he's in.
I totally get it.
And I was expecting it, as you can see from that trailer, I was expecting it, all right, it's going to be like a heavy thing because, the whole situation with the dictators, et cetera, et cetera. In the opening scene, when he comes home to his family, it's already a funny movie. They really caught the humanity of it. They caught, the humor of the characters. It reminded me of things like All the President's Men, although I think it's better than All the President's Men. And these movies from the 70s that were didn't forget they were about entertainment, because this movie is an extremely entertaining movie. It's also a pretty long movie, but it's worth it. I don't think anybody will be bored by this. I just, this guy, well, I don't even want to say too much about it because I'll be giving some things away. It does say inspired by a true story, and I think at this point, the only book that never claimed to be inspired by a true story is the Bible.
Yeah, right.
And ever since then, it's like, a guy told me this story once, and it was about these two guys, and I thought, that would make a good movie, and I made it into this thing that had nothing to do with that story. But this is if you live in Argentina, from what I understand, this story. Right. You know what happened. You know how important it is in the history of that country. And as I say, first and foremost, it's a great entertainment. So take it away, Susie.
Oh, well, like you, Ricardo Darin. Oh my God, we saw him in
The Secrets in Their Eyes.
Secret in Their Eyes, but also Wild Tales. The Wild Tales,
and another one called Septimo. If you haven't seen, you got to see.
Yeah,
that.
I mean, really, he's like a movie star, like Argentina's movie star. He really is, and I like the way he underplayed everything. You know what I mean? He's just also like in the previous movie, did Colin Farrell. Really great actors do not overact. They
hold back.
His character is a very grounding character in the movie, and a great tragedy, and he's very grounded in the movie, and it makes you comfortable, like, so you're not emotionally all over the place. So let's see. The only problem I had was I wished, I know there must have been a prosecutor's case. I mean, a defendant's case. The defendants must have had a case, but they never presented that to us in the movie. They really didn't. It was really the prosecutors. It's like we're the grand jury, you know, and we just get the prosecutor's version of things. But the whole movie, he's building his case, and they have these young people,
young interns.
Yeah, interns that are helping them, and the other character, Luis Moreno Ocampo, was the Peter Lanzani was his deputy deputy attorney. Yeah. But this is done basically through the eyes of the chief prosecutor, Julio Cesar. So he's building his case. He's very thoughtful, and he's very cranky, right? And that makes him very lovable. He's very much a dad type of guy, you know, like dad cranky. So even though some of the witness testimony is a little difficult, he himself brings it to an intellectual place, like building a case. So it's kind of like, like if things are, it doesn't let it ever get emotionally out of control to you, the audience, because you're always seeing it through his perspective as a thing. So it's a real courtroom drama, you know. I would say he's a huge movie star. We discussed the two. We actually did the two previous, the Secret and Wild Tales. We actually did those two. The Wild Tales is like, forget it.
Bombita. It's bombita.
He gives a brilliant, understated performance in this latest endeavor. Like I said, it's a courtroom drama that keeps you glued to the screen. All these movies are rather long, but I never felt like that at all. It was like, I never felt, oh, this movie was like, is it ever going to be over? No, you're just riveted. It was great. It was a great movie. It made me start looking into, hey, what happened? Betty.
Oh, I love this movie, and you know, Bob, I don't like your movies. So when I always leave yours to the last, because I think, okay, I'm not going to like it.
I think you liked the last one I did too, and I don't even remember what it was on the last show.
What was the last one?
What did I like last time?
That's exactly what I was saying.
Well, I don't remember.
I'm here, so it's kind of, I have to go back. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, viewers, watch all our shows. You'll figure out what we're talking about.
Yeah, which one? I thought this guy, Ricardo, was great. He was the main prosecutor. And you're right, his acting is impeccable. I was so impressed with this guy as an actor. And also, I totally believed him as a prosecutor. It's the way they think. And yet there's humor in the movie, just like in life, there's humor, you know, even in the worst situations. And that keeps everything up. I'm sorry, the stories, because I know it's a true story, got to me. But those kind of things, I can watch every horror movie in the world, but watching someone describe somebody's torture kills me. I can watch the torture, but I don't want to hear their point.
Also, because when
you're watching it, you know it's make believe.
That's right.
Exactly. But when you watch this, you know it actually happened.
Yeah,
that's why
and it kills me. It just gets
allegedly.
You could be a defense lawyer too. And I found it. I loved the wife in it. I just loved the kid in it, the wife, his friends. Everybody was perfect in their role. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And it reminded me, funny enough, of the trial, the Nuremberg trial with Spencer Tracy, except he's the judge and this is the prosecutor. You don't usually get the prosecutor's view. It's always the defense lawyer. So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, it's very funny. I was one when Bob picked it. I thought, oh no, I thought exactly like you. Oh, another depressing movie. So I did sort of like, I'll watch 15 minutes, the first 15 minutes, see how it was.
That's what
And
I said.
all it was is like, oh, good. No, it is, you know, like so the stuff with his family, especially with his son, the relationship.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's true or not, who knows? But that's a great relationship that he and his son has. And his son is such a neat little character to throw in.
Yeah.
Because basically he's spying on his sister and reporting it to his father because his father says, I don't like the guy but it also has to do with the situation he's in. You know, he's a little suspicious of everybody at this time point. So
he's
yes.
a prosecutor.
Well, as the prosecutor, but also on this case, because that's another thing that they do bring up. This is, even though it is, like Bob said, at least the humor is injected. And remember how I always said, I don't care how dramatic or tragic something is, you put humor into it and it can really carry you through an entire movie, especially one that's dealing with subject like this. So I thought I appreciated that. I think all the performances, you're right, are good. I like the fact that something I didn't know about the trial that, or at least in the way they present it, is how the old guard of attorneys in Argentina do not want to try this case.
Right.
They know, no.
It's a no win.
Not only that, but obviously they're still afraid of the military in this and the repercussions they might face. So, there are a lot of threats, happening through it, not just the prosecutors, the lawyers, but also the witnesses, are happening. So I was sort of surprised. I thought, fortunately for the Ricardo Darin character, his character brings up so much humor throughout the thing. And yet when he gives his final closing statement, it's just a remarkable statement that it's one of those things like, I would say like Abraham Lincoln's speech. Mm-hmm. Everyone should know this because it says so much about humanity and it's so true. In fact, I was wondering even if the kids from Florida, when the high school, that shooting at the high school happened, that the Never Again logo, if they sort of came across this and said, yes, that's what should be never again, or nunca más, I believe is what he says. No more. I have to admit, I thought, even at one point, I thought, how goofy, when they do an interview with all the young people that they have to hire. So it's sort of by rote, sort of almost like a very funny little sequence, but I thought it's so true. They want to know everything. In fact, I wanted to find out if that Los Abuelos pop song was really the hit pop song at that time, because I thought that sort of is even, I'll be curious why, because abuelos means grandmothers, right?
Grandfathers. Or grandfather. Grandparents.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. And I thought, harking back to a tradition kind of thing. So I would tell people my introduction to this, and of course I was living at the time, so I was 20, in my 20s, I guess, in college. So we were sort of aware of what's going in Argentina, but it wasn't until I saw the movie Official Story that you really hear the horrible, horrible things of these parents dealing with missing children.
Oh yeah,
and that's what I didn't know about. What was going on, even though they said, "Oh yeah, there have been disappearances." I had no idea what scale. So I would highly recommend the Official Story. That's the Argentina movie. I think that won Best Picture, Best Foreign Language film. I think in 84, 85 by this time. And then this, because both of these, I thought, what a great double feature. Because that was a very heavy movie, whereas at least you're going to see the conclusion of what happened with these trials. Because I guess this is the trial of the juntas. And it's very satisfactory. Even at the end, I was very happy how they presented what was going to go on, and how it's sort of a story that will never end. As for us in America, slavery, the emancipation of women's, these are ongoing struggles that will just keep going on until we really finally get it right, which I still say it will happen. I really believe it will happen.
Yeah, I really enjoy this movie too. It's kind of like, it's almost to me also like filling the blank Central and South American countries, because there's so many countries that went through the same similar thing. Ricardo Darin, this guy's like he should be like a really well. I'm glad that I think they won a Golden Globe. People need to know about this guy. But okay, this guy's like he's so much charisma. Darin, yeah.
He should be the new Pedro.
He's yes. But I think what helped the movie too was because it's a really heavy subject. Is his charisma and he's kind of funny, and he always kind of brings that to the movies as well. I really like his wife and his son too. She's really tough. Whatever he said, I'm going through this. Or in fact, she was the one pushing him. No, she was really tough. Like, no, we're gonna go continue and fight. And the son was very like a young adult. In fact, I saw a movie a while back called it's called Si saben cómo me pongo, ¿por qué me invitan? Which means if you know how I get, why do you invite me? Which is an alcoholic guy, and it's basically like couples retreat. They all go on. It's Argentina movie too, and they go on a couples retreat. But this guy gets so drunk, he's like the children's party. But his son, he's the same identical character as the son in this one. He's like, Dad, you sir, you need to shape up and do this and that. He's really young too, but he's such an adult. There's a scene in the movie where he's looking at the defendants and he's kind of like going this to them. He's doing this and all those things. And I go, that's fine, that's for the movie. But then they show a picture of the guy actually doing that. That actually happened. Yeah. So maybe, and I thought maybe this guy did have that kind of a personality too. Maybe he kind of had charisma too. He was kind of funny. So that probably helped him along too if he had that kind of like Ricardo Darin's personality. The speech at the end of that thing he writes, you said it reminded you of I don't know what movie you said that it reminded.
You say no.
Abraham Lincoln.
Address.
I thought it reminded me of that.
At the end.
No.
But to me, it's kind of like the King's Speech in that movie. Something that's really powerful. Colin Firth, it's just movies that at the end have this great speech. What's the one about the aliens attacking us? So Independence Day, great speech at the end. So, but really, I really enjoyed this movie, and it's 2.5 hours long. Didn't feel it at all.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah. So are we ready to...
Well, I just wanted to say that, first of all, I have to admit, Secrets in Your Eyes is maybe my favorite movie of all time. I love that movie. And I just realized there's a real connection because that's, the reason that he's in that movie, that he's sent off to they ship him off to be working in that small town is because of this very thing.
Oh, the disappearances.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention too. If you want an American comparison to something like this, see, I saw this as I would compare it to movies like Spotlight or The Big Short, where they actually show you historical things that actually went on, but the way they present it, it's pretty entertaining. So don't be bogged down by thinking, oh, it's too heavy.
And it's part of history.
And also I made this point when we did review the Wild Tales. Which one story Ricardo?
Oh my God, that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Which I comment again, which I love the Irish accent, the things of that was in the Banshees of Inisherin. I love the Irish accent because the things that they say are really funny. In Spanish, the Argentinian accent is so funny. Just the things that they say, and he was doing certain things that I was just cracking up again. It's like their curse words, the things that they choose, just like Irish. It's just really funny. Like saying, now I can curse without being. Sound like I'm cursing. I can say "ficking L."
Also, too, it was so 70s. They captured the 70s,
80s,
85.
Oh, 85. Sorry. Okay, they captured the 80s.
You were commenting on the suits.
I actually noticed the same thing because I said, "Oh, the period looks a little 70s," but I thought, "Oh, I forget. This is not America. This is Argentina,
right.
so it is very different."
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Latin America.
I promise that I will pick Septimo soon because you guys have got to see that one.
Got to pick that other movie too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will give that. I'll give it I loved all the movies this time, and I loved this movie. I'll give it only because they didn't present the defense case in it.
There was no defense case.
Well, there must have been.
There wasn't.
There must have been a lawyer.
No, there was definitely a defense case.
They could have tried.
But what I did like actually that they mentioned in the movie is that they were forced because remember they want to go to military trial.
Right.
I thought how interesting that went to a civil, but the fact that they said, well, fine, you have to make sure that everyone you're bringing up as a witness, you have to make sure they were
Yeah.
not guilty, that they had to do tons and tons of research under a very limited amount of time.
I just think that if you're doing, though, a trial movie,
Yeah.
that you need to
Even it
present
out.
both
Yeah.
cases. You need
But
to
then it would have
present
been
that.
4 hours, and I love the movie.
Well, hold on a second, because we cited Judgment at Nuremberg before. They didn't make any defense case of Judgment at Nuremberg.
That's true.
Because
Did I
we
watch
knew
Nuremberg?
Huh?
Did I do this movie?
Everybody
Well,
No,
Patty-
we made reference to it earlier.
But
when we were
Patty
talking
did.
about it.
Patty did.
I made
Patty
reference to
did.
it.
Yes.
I watched it.
Yeah, Patty
Okay,
did.
but I mean, like,
yeah.
when you're dealing with something, we live here, they live there. When
No,
you're dealing with
it-
something as pure evil as this was,
We don't know that because we don't get the other side of the case.
Well, the one defense thing that
Trust
they
me,
said.
it was-
I
Yeah.
agree with you on the level that everybody everywhere is doing the best they can in any given moment, but
No, I just
This
think
is
that for
transcendent.
me to have a commitment to that, I have to. It's not a really big deal.
So
but
what's your
but
score?
but
Well, I'll
it's-
make it a
I
really
gave
big
it
deal.
What is it?
8.
Oh, I missed that.
But it's my score. That's what I.
No, but you know the one.
Otherwise, it
You're
would have been a
sticking to it.
10.
But you know what? The only one defense thing they did was that one guy said, if we hadn't done what we did, Argentina would be in such a chaos. You would not be where you are now, too. That was the only defense thing that they
Yeah,
showed.
well, the defense lawyer must have presented a case.
Mhm.
And so, therefore, I would like to know what it was. That's all.
I
You'll
don't
have
need to
see
know
the
what it
final
was.
version of it.
Well, I'm not
I like when
really
they show one
interested
side.
because I feel like, okay, I hate to say that, but kind of we're all biased here. We're kind of biased
On what?
on these trials.
Yeah.
I don't feel I'm
and I
going,
think it's a good thing.
but I don't feel I'm going into it with but why am I watching a trial case? I want to know that I'm already right. Do you know what I mean?
Well, do you ever think,
Why do I need
that's
to
pretty
watch
much that's
it?
why
Why
trial
do I want
movies
to
are so
watch it?
unbelievable.
You want to hope you're right because otherwise you're on their side, which is totally wrong.
No, that's so untrue. That's like telling me if I'm not a Democrat, then I'm a Republican.
Yeah.
No, I'm
I
not.
agree with
No,
you.
no.
I agree
No,
with
I'm
you.
not. I'm
Sorry,
just. I'm
it's
just
different. It's a whole different
no,
level.
it's the same.
No,
Anyway.
I agree with Susie on that one. Yeah.
Because I'm
Well,
just.
I don't care. But anyway, my score
But
is
it's
10.
kind of like my point
Oh,
is
wow.
I'm not an
Yeah, I was very
unbiased
moved.
person. So therefore, I need if I'm watching a courtroom case like
Right.
Perry Mason.
I know what you're saying.
I know he's always going to win.
Except for one.
Oh, what happened?
There was one case that he lost.
I did not
remember
know that, and
and I just know that, yeah, because I remember that when it happened on.
Look
when it
at
was
Lon,
on
has to
television.
I
look
can
it
tell
up.
you they didn't do it in
Has to know.
reruns very much.
Was he,
No, it's a famous show because of that.
Okay, but my
was
point
Johnny
is,
Cochran on the other side?
they still show you the other side of the other side of the thing. I don't know why this is controversial.
You
in
know
a
what?
court
I
case.
do like when they show one side
Oh,
because you
okay.
don't usually see the prosecution
Then you
sides.
can give your number, and you can
I already
say this
gave
is
my
a
number,
plus
Sue.
for you. What was it?
10.
Yeah.
I thought it was that good.
Yeah, I gave it a 6.
Of course you did,
Actually,
Lon.
because I gave Banshees, but which I thought was a great movie, a 9. And I thought this was a great movie too, so I'll give it a 9 as well. Yeah.
Since
And
I'm
also-
not giving review. I'm not giving ratings.
That's right.
I'm just saying, if I were going to give it, you know what I'd give it.
Oh, right, but you're not rating.
That's right.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So.
Oh, yeah.
Doo-doo.
Done? Oh, yeah. And we'll be back.
We'll be back. Okay.
Holy smoke! She liked one of my movies.
Yeah, don't hold your breath for the next one.